Sailing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Welcome to this online service of Neshoba Unitarian Universalist Church. I am the Reverend Beth Lefever, pleased and privileged to serve as the minister of this wonderful congregation, and I'm so very glad that you have joined with us this morning. Our opening words are by Thich Nhat Hanh. Letting go gives us freedom, and freedom is the only condition for happiness. If in our heart we still cling to anything, anger, anxiety, or possessions, we cannot be free. In a spirit of letting go and of freedom, let us be together in worship. And now Jeanne Ortmann is going to light our chalice.
Our chalice lighting this morning is by Katie Galvant. We light our chalice as a symbol of gratitude as we celebrate the abundance of our lives together. In this sanctuary, we harvest bushels of strength for one another and offer our crop with the hands of compassion and generosity. In the authentic and gentle manner of our connections, we cultivate a simple sweetness to brighten our spirits. May we be grateful for the ways we nourish and uplift each other, for it is the sharing of this hallowed time together that sustains us. Please join me in the words of our affirmation of covenant shown on the screen. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God.
Just a few days ago, Miss Marilyn from Neshoba shared with us a picture online of a beautiful rainbow that lands at the end of the parking lot in Neshoba. And it makes me think about how much we Neshobans love rainbows. Not only are they a symbol of hope, they also help us to remember our principles of Unitarian Universalism. And it turns out that rainbows feature in one of my children's favorite storybooks called What Makes a Rainbow? And so I'm going to share the story with you this morning and also help you learn a neat way to remember our Unitarian Universalist principles by way of that rainbow. Our story begins. Little Rabbit and his mother were sitting under a big red flower petal. "Look," said Little Rabbit, "the rain is stopping." "Yes," said Mama Rabbit, "soon we'll see a rainbow." "What makes a rainbow?" asked Little Rabbit. "Why don't you ask your friend?" said Mama Rabbit. "Ladybug, what makes a rainbow?" asked Little Rabbit. "Red," said Ladybug, gently closing her red wings. "You need red to make a rainbow." And the color red reminds us to respect the importance of all beings. "Mr. Fox, what makes a rainbow?" asked Little Rabbit. "Orange," said Mr. Fox, swishing his orange tail. "You need orange to make a rainbow." And orange reminds us to offer fair and kind treatment to all. "Little Chick, what makes a rainbow?" asked Little Rabbit. "Yellow," said Little Chick, fluffing her soft yellow fuzz. "You need yellow to make a rainbow." And yellow reminds us to yearn to learn throughout life. "Mr. Grasshopper, what makes a rainbow?" asked Little Rabbit. "Green," said Mr. Grasshopper, rubbing his long green legs together. "You need green to make a rainbow." And green reminds us to grow by exploring ideas and values together. "Bluebird, what makes a rainbow?" asked Little Rabbit. "Blue," said Bluebird, ruffling her pretty blue feathers. "You need blue to make a rainbow." And blue reminds us to believe in our ideas and act on them. And there's a darker shade of blue called indigo. And indigo blue reminds us to insist on peace, freedom, and justice for all. "Butterfly, what makes a rainbow?" asked Little Rabbit. "Violet," said Butterfly, spreading her delicate violet wings. "You need violet to make a rainbow." And violet reminds us to value our interdependence and connection with all living beings and nature. "Well," said Mama Rabbit to Little Rabbit, "now you know what makes a rainbow." Rain, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and a little bit of sunshine.
Hello, my fellow Neshobans. Hi, it's me, Victoria Hester from Seattle, Washington. I miss all of you so much. I'm here today to tell you a little bit about what Neshoba means to me. Neshoba means so much to me. I am transgender, and I started my transition at Neshoba around 5 years ago. When I first came to Neshoba, I was on a spiritual path, and I was lost and was in despair, honestly, and was very confused about where I wanted to go with my spiritual journey. Neshoba was a place where I found that. I was at Neshoba for close to 4 years before I moved to Seattle, Washington, and I miss Neshoba every day dearly. Neshoba helped me discover my spiritual path, helped me discover who I am as a person, and just loved me with open arms. When I started transitioning at Neshoba, I was very scared that first Sunday to come to church as myself. But when I arrived, everyone had nothing but compliments and love for me, and highly encouraged me in my transition, which I've progressed so much in since my days at Neshoba. Through activities such as the Chalice group, Neshoba cups, and many others, including classes, I was very inspired on my spiritual path and did a lot of self-development and maturing during my years at Neshoba Church, especially volunteering with the RE group taught me so much. Also, while I was there, I matured as a person. Reverend Beth's sermons often inspired me and developed me on my spiritual path, which I'm on today as well. I learned that it's okay not to necessarily have a deity in my life, that it's okay to incorporate multiple deities or no deity at all, that it's okay to have a religion or an absence of a religion. Neshoba changed my life in so many ways and set me on the path that I am today in such positive ways. I am so thankful for the gift that Neshoba gave me of friends, of a family of choice, of a spiritual path, of spiritual development, and whatever that definition means to me. And I know it gives so many others that definition as well for who they are as people and on their own paths. I love and I miss all of you, and I treasure you all dearly. And I know that I will see you all again sometime in the future. I highly encourage you to support Neshoba with your volunteering, with your funds, with whatever you may have. Support this loving congregation that's truly making a change in this world. I wish you all the best. I'm sending you love from Seattle, and please stay safe and healthy during these trying times. And just advocate the best that you can in whatever way that you can, as we all do it in different ways. Sending you all love and hugs. I love you all and hope to see you soon.
Humanitarian theologian and physician Albert Schweitzer said, "I don't know what your destiny will be, but one thing I do know, the only ones among you who will really be happy are those who have sought and found how to serve." We here at Neshoba want to assist in your happiness. And more, we think our church and our faith are causes worthy of your service. Please support us as we pause for our weekly offering. And know, as always, how very, very grateful we are. We are in the midst of our annual stewardship campaign, an important time in the life of this church, which affects people even after they've left the area, as Victoria said. Thank you, Victoria. We're so very glad that you are still a part of us. Also, let me clarify just briefly. Even though our building is closed, our church is very much open, and we're all trying hard to continue to meet the spiritual and fellowship needs of our members, friends, and visitors in this truly difficult time. And though you might think that just because we are not meeting in person in the building, our expenses have diminished significantly, they have not. We have not been paying to have the church cleaned. We have been mowing a little less frequently, and we've tempered our air conditioning, But we cannot turn off the utilities for several reasons, including the fact that several of us are working from the church, largely because that's where our materials are, and others are coming to do maintenance, and we record from the church, and so on. Additionally, our staff is working hard, and in some cases harder, to provide Zoom and online services for our children, teens, and adults. And our programs are doing well and reaching folks who need support, as well as others who wouldn't be able to access our community at all in other ways. Our music director, membership coordinator, and office administrator all have more work rather than less work during this time. Online and Zoom work is time-consuming and labor-intensive, and we are all working hard for you. Please understand that. Also, if we are not meeting your needs in some way, in any way, please email or phone me. If we don't know, we can't help. And now, to move from serious to somewhat frivolous, and to sum up all that I've just said in a fun way, I want to introduce a song, words written by Elaine Orland and performed by Elaine and David, entitled 50 Ways to Pledge Neshoba. Please listen.
Sitting there don't mean that we need less. There's over 50 whys to pledge Neshoba. I said, but Beth, ain't folks just sitting on their duff? What we got saved up, sure that ought to be enough. And she said, Elaine, you know, I gotta call your bluff. There must be 50 whys to pledge Neshoba. 50 whys to pledge Neshoba. Our staff is still working, not one of them shirking. We're internet working, yes, I guarantee. Our building is standing, our cause is demanding. So with gay abandon, get pledging with me. There's lawns to get mowing, our taxes mind-blowing, our lights to keep glowing. You just listen to me. Equipment is humming, and there's that plumbing. The reasons keep coming. There's no c'est la vie. Now, Beth, I said, I think those reasons are real plain. But so I can be certain, I wish you would, again, just take a moment. And would you please explain about the 50 whys? She said, be happy to, because I know you care. Our liberal church, it is an answer to a prayer. Just think about Memphis, if we were not there. Keep thinking. There's people in trouble, we help on the double. We ain't in no bubble, you know that that's so. There's Micah and Reedy, our help it is speedy to back down the greedy. We need that cash flow, we're not closed forever as COVID gets better. we'll all get together. You know that it's true. See our kitchen rockin', and it'll need stocking. Start writing, quit talking. It's all up to you. There's cleaning and painting, parties for acquainting. When we are done waiting, we'll have a big whoop-de-doo. So if you ain't done it, get moving, don't shun it, till we know we've won it. Let's see this thing through. So download your pledge sheet. Our internet's real sweet, and warm up those cold feet. So make a beeline. There's Givelify waiting. So let's start donating. Your love confronts hating. You know you'll feel fine. And I said, Beth, okay, I got it. I'm on my way. I'm doing it. I'm on it.
Thank you, guys. Great as always. My reading this morning is by William Butler Yeats. I am content to follow its source. Every event in action or in thought, measure the lot, forgive myself the lot. When such as I cast out remorse, so great a sweetness flows into the breast. We must laugh and we must sing. We are blessed by everything. Everything we look upon is blessed. I don't know who said it, nor could I find it through an internet search, but there is a saying that goes like this: few of us can reach the brass ring. For most of us, the joy is in riding the carousel. Now, for that to make sense, you have to understand that in the old days, carousels or merry-go-rounds often had a small brass ring located close to the revolving ride. A rider perched upon their horse could attempt to grab the brass ring while riding past it. If they managed, they could exchange the ring for a prize, a toy, or another ride on the carousel. The saying always appealed to me because I love horses and I love merry-go-rounds, and though the brass ring was apparently a thing of the past by the time I started joyfully riding around in circles every time I got the chance, I understood the wisdom of those words. Said another way, few of us can win the race. For most of us, the joy is in the running. Ugh. Let's try something else. Few of us can win the Nobel Prize for Literature. For most of us, the joy is in the writing. Or few of us can win the dance contest. For most of us, the joy is in the dancing. Or, well, you get the idea. A few weeks ago, I preached about what gets us through the tough times. This sermon is somewhat like that because, well, times are really tough. But this goes beyond getting through the tough times to look at how we might achieve contentment, joy, and satisfaction even in normal times through everyday living. Few of us can catch the brass ring. Few of us can get the lead role. Few of us will win the election or the lottery or the blue ribbon or the gold medal. For most of us, most of the time, life is relatively average. And average, for the most part, for most of us here, really is a blessing. It's good average, and not the average that consists of a daily struggle for survival. If it's good average, we are exceptionally blessed. And we know that this is not the case for many in our country and our world for whom life is a hard and ongoing struggle. Their lives might be considered hard average rather than good average. Their average hours and days are hard. And they might not feel or be particularly blessed. But for most of us here, we are blessed in our average lives. That is not to say we don't have troubles or difficulties, worries, or fear, but relatively speaking, our good average lives are a blessing. It is important to recognize that fact, I think. I know it is for me. And to feel blessed by the average consistency of our days, we must feel blessed by the little things. A fresh breeze on a hot summer day, a child presenting us with a bouquet of dandelions, the squeeze of a lover's hand, the listening ear of a friend. And yes, okay, the daytime and nighttime skies, the smell of fresh cut grass right before you sneeze, the beauty and antics of various numbers of wildlife that come into view periodically. Snoopy says, every time you see a bird sitting on a telephone wire, you should wave. Snoopy is a wise beagle and one of my muses. Waving at a bird on a wire is whimsical and childlike and fully okay, if not good, to do. Snoopy also says, when all else fails, turn up the music and dance with your dog. Snoopy's got the right idea. And cartoons of his happy dance, long ears flapping, mouth widely grinning, feet flying, well, they never fail to make me smile. And Snoopy says, the loyalty of dogs proves there is human potential. I love that one. The loyalty of dogs proves that we might be okay after all. And Snoopy says the world is a better place when you are laughing. We all know that to be true, don't we? Laughter, dancing, friendships, and friendships with dogs, releasing the ponderous weight of being serious all the time. These are good practices and worthy of, well, practice. It's also important, if we are to enjoy the carousel ride through life, it's important to practice the pause. That's pause, P-A-U-S-E. It's important to make the pause a deliberate part of daily life. In the midst of your busyness, pause to glance outside and notice the view. Note it and consider it for a minute. Is it beautiful, funny, sad, common, unusual? How does it make you feel? Not think so much, but feel. Do you see people, a person? If so, wonder about their life or lives just for a minute. Appreciate them if you can. Then go back to your busyness. A little later, pause again and notice something else and allow it to give you pleasure. Your partner's inelegant snoozing, your child's mussy hair, your fur baby's watchful gaze, hoping you're headed into the kitchen for a snack. And a bit later, pause for a moment to really listen when you hear the bird's song and think how wondrous such a small thing really is. This takes training, this habit of intentional attention and appreciation. You must be deliberate about it and work at it until it becomes a habit. But in a world as increasingly tumultuous as ours, it's an important habit to cultivate. A spiritual practice, really. A spiritual practice that will give you moments of peace and gratitude and rejuvenation and a sense of awe regarding this journey we are all on together, this journey on the carousel through life, through the world. Amen. And now let us pause for a time of meditation, reflection, and prayer. I thanked a butterfly today that timed its wondrous journey to coincide with mine by choice or chance, the former of which befits my philosophy of life. It was a grizzled skipper, I think, black with white markings, a Pyrgus malvi if you want to go all science-y about it, or perhaps a speckled wood, a Parara jaegeria, although neither species is common here, according to my computer-aided research. I don't usually research such things, can't name most tree types, although I love them. Can't name various bird species, but for the most common, though I do try to mimic their songs by whistling through my teeth, as my brothers taught me. I know few types of flowers, fewer than most, although I often have some sitting beside my kitchen sink. I thanked a butterfly today. It seemed the natural, the right thing to do. Amen. And until next week, blessed be.
Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to life. Just as long as vision lasts, I must answer yes to truth. In my dream and in my dark, always that elusive spark. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to truth. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to love. Disappointment pierced me through, still I kept on loving you. If they ask what I did best, tell them I said yes to love.
Hello, this is Bill Seiler coming to you again with another video recap of the most recent meeting of the church's board of directors. We met on July the 21st, and that was the first meeting of the church's new fiscal year, the year that began July 1. The secretary will prepare the official meeting minutes for our approval at the next board meeting. But in the interim, here's an informal recap of what happened. This meeting was Christy Hogan's first board meeting as our newly elected president. Christy opened the meeting with humility, with a gracious expression of gratitude to the rest of the board, and with enthusiasm for her new role. Before the meeting, the board got written reports from the minister, the finance committee, the treasurer, and the director of religious exploration. Also, Reverend Beth and our treasurer, Marcus, each took a few minutes to elaborate on their written reports. Marcus included a discussion of the unbudgeted cost of our telephone answering service. Based on that report, we will be giving up that service and will likely replace it with a cheaper web-based alternative. We also got a verbal report from Christy regarding the connection team, or the C team. The current team members are Christy, Sarah Osborne, Reverend Beth, Chelsea Orland, and Walt Holmes. Together, they will continue the team's programmatic efforts to keep us knitted together as a community and connected during this extended time of distancing. The board took up 5 items of new business. First, the board was advised that turnover on the Finance Committee has left that committee without a chair. Newly elected board member Roger Labonte has been on that committee for a while, and Roger has agreed to serve as the committee chair, and the board approved of that. And the second item, our 3-member committee on ministry has a vacancy. That committee has 3 members who serve staggered 3-year terms, so each year there's a vacancy for the board to fill. This year the board chose Dennis King to fill that spot. Dennis will join Rachel Farmer and Sharon Rohrig, who are already on that committee. Third, recently we have encountered a few glitches with our use of the 2 Zoom accounts that the church pays for. Those glitches have generally had to do with scheduling conflicts and uncertainty about who can or should perform which Zoom administrative functions. Just in the course of our board meeting, we sorted out some of those issues in our discussion. Other issues need some more thought, and the board agreed to work up some written Zoom usage guidelines for us to consider at the next board meeting. In the fourth item, the board agreed to renew our membership commitment to MICA. MICA is the Memphis Interfaith Coalition for Action and Hope, and we agreed to pay our annual MICA dues. And finally, the board decided to continue paying for lawn care. One of the budget cuts adopted at the June congregational meeting was the elimination of paid lawn service. Each mowing costs $200 or $250 if they trim. The Building and Grounds Committee expressed their view that keeping the lawn mowed is an essential and necessary item of ground maintenance that the church should continue to pay for, and the board agreed. That was it for official actions taken. We will meet again on August the 18th. You are welcome to drop in, albeit metaphorically, and join us at that time. Meanwhile, take good care.